between the scary verse, the humiliverse, the BB comic verse, and the scramble verse, which one is the best?
I would say the scary verse because I slept in the scary room, and that's how I met my best friends. So I can't, I can't say anything bad about the scary verse. I love it. Even the Nether Gorgon. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
and they're going to wrap us here, but quickly, is there more for you and Matt outside the BB house? Just a yes or no?
Hey guys, welcome to the Secret Alliance podcast,
where we talk about the game of Big Brother with the people who play it. I'm Jason Guy from Big Brother 3, and
I'm Hannah Chada from Big Brother season 23. Oh, we both got the threes in our season.
I love it. And
Rachel, season 13. Maybe she'll be joining us at some point.
That's the hope, and we really do feel like sooner than later, like she's got to escape from the multiverse wherever she is and join us.
Yeah.
And this is a big exciting. We've got our very first house guest interview here.
Yes, I'm so excited. We are about to sit down and chat with Reilly. She went from being the week 1 HOH to the week 2 evictee. So she has had the highest of highs in the BB house and the lowest of lows. And I definitely have some questions for her. I know you do too. And I'm just excited to talk to her about her experience and welcome her to the community.
Yeah. So to go from that bedroom upstairs, the top of the house, literally to out the door in a week's time. Okay. So we'll get all of her thoughts and feelings and all of that good stuff. I even got to make mention that my little bit is a fan. We also are talking about the veto ceremony coming up. We've got a little spoiler here, and I'm just going to tease that Hisam is involved. So take that for what you will. We'll get to the spoilers.
Okay. Yeah, he's involved in the plans. But the one thing about the BB25 house is that their plans more often than not have gone awry. So I don't know if he's going to finish being part of those plans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we'll get to all of that. I can't wait. I really want some of your insight here, Hannah, for this. I also am going to tease that I want to pick your brain about a problem that I think might be brewing for Cirie. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, so that's all I have. So let's take it back. We know Reilly got booted from the Big Brother house. Did anything surprise you from her exit interview? Any of the things that she had to say to Julie, or maybe some of the interviews that you've seen so far with her?
No, I do feel like her exit was pretty straightforward. It's not like there was, this secret alliance, no pun intended, plotting against her. She just happened to be on the opposite side of the house as the week 2 HOH Hisam. And Hisam made it very clear that he was gunning for her and people saw her as a strong competitor. It's a tale as old as time. So, a tale as old as BB times.
25 seasons old.
Yes, exactly.
I will say she was a casualty of this plan to backdoor Hisam, and it didn't work if he had any idea that somebody was working on something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I have the spoilers for us this week, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but it's funny that Reilly's eviction was part of this force of resistance against Hisam. And this week, we're about to find out, did they actually put him on the block? Did he end up playing in veto? Did he win veto? Who knows?
And the thing that's interesting is, can this whole house come together with a secret and not let him in on it until you get him in that position for a back door? It's something that's pretty interesting as it's been playing out in the BB25 house. Okay, so let's get to Reilly now and some insight about what's been happening in the Big Brother house.
I was never, ever expecting so much support and love. I just feel, it's a very, I had a tough time in the Big Brother house just because it's so new and a lot of pressure. And, I was just never expecting such a warm welcome back to normal human life. And everyone's just welcomed me with open arms. And I could not be happier to have had this experience and meet so many awesome people and feel so loved.
Hey, Reilly. So, my first question for you is, do you believe it was a good idea for Hisam and the rest of the professors to target you in week 2? And how do you think it would have worked in their favor to keep you around instead of Cameron?
You know, obviously, I'm gonna tell you, I shouldn't have gone week 2. I think that I'm a fighter. I'm very competitive, and I wanted to stay and see it through. But I think that I originally had the idea that Hisam might come for me, so he was on my radar for sure. And I guess if there was an opportunity for them to get me out, that would have been the time to do it, because I probably would have did what they did.
And what's going to happen now with Cameron?
Good question. I'm not sure if he's going to try to align with Hisam or if he's going to try to make amends with the handful. We'll have to see where he goes. He's definitely kind of a free agent right now. He's very close with Red, I know, friend-wise. So they might try to align, when it comes to the game and see what they can do. But Cam's definitely become a free agent.
So it was super interesting to just keep up with live feeds all week. The house kept going back and forth. Why do you think there was so much flip-flopping as to whether they wanted to send you or Cameron home up until the very last moment? It seemed like right before eviction, we didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, that was a tough blow because everything was so up and down for a few days. That's what happens in the Big Brother house. You have too much time to change your mind. I had him, then I lost him, so I was super bummed. I told my alliance, if we don't have the numbers, don't blow up your game by voting for me. Just protect yourselves and, kick some butt for me. I'll see him on the outside.
My last question for you, it's a bit of a silly question, but between the scary verse, the humiliverse, the BB comic verse, and the scramble verse, which one is the best?
I would say the scary verse because I slept in the scary room and that's how I met my best friends. So I can't, I can't see anything bad about the scary verse. I love it. Even the Nether Gorgon. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
and they're going to wrap us here, but quickly, is there more for you and Matt outside the BB house? Just a yes or no?
A maybe.
Oh, maybe. Okay. And then anybody left in the game, you got a little quick piece of advice for them?
Matt, Jag, and Blue, careful who you trust, and go kick some serious royal butt for me.
Do you think now Hisam's in trouble?
I think he's in trouble. But he's a really smart guy, so he's probably already fully aware of that, and he's going to do what he has to do to make sure he's not in trouble.
All right. I can't wait to see what's going to happen this next week. Thank you for your time. And from my family and my 11-year-old, who's a big fan, Grace says hi.
Tell her I say hello.
I will, Reilly. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hopefully we'll talk to you some more through the season.
Yes. Woohoo. I hope so.
Okay. And would you do Big Brother again?
Absolutely. In a heartbeat. I'd crawl back into that house tomorrow.
Awesome. All right. Bye, Reilly. She really was kind to her housemates, it sounds like, where she gave them the opportunity that they could make that decision that was really in the best interest of their game, not to put a bullseye on their back for Hisam or some of the other players on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. And at that point, if you don't have the numbers, like, what are you going to do? So yeah, that was generous of her, or I guess like very considerate of her to be like, don't blow up your game for me. I'm not staying regardless of how you vote. So you might as well just vote with the house so you can kind of conceal your loyalties and you don't stick out like a sore thumb. But I think it's just so interesting how Big Brother really is this marathon. It's so different from a show like Survivor, where you have a tribal council every day, every 3 days. Like, you really do have an abundance of time, nothing but time to just sit there and mull over decision after decision. And the way you decide at each twist and turn can really impact the rest of your game. And so I think that's something that we see, especially with Saray's game. She's very chaotic for a Big Brother player. And I think that's because she's so seasoned when it comes to playing Survivor, which is more of a sprint. So we're really getting to see that deviation this season. And for me, as someone who loves reality TV and loves these competitive game shows, I love it. If I could study Big Brother and Survivor, I would do it. There's
forget that medical degree. You want the
I want the PhD in reality
survivorology and Big Brotherology.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, you went through BB 101 100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you could probably be like the professor. I could be your TA at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's still a lot to learn, but it is fun to examine it season after season and really, dig in. I think though that is really true. How Big Brother, as we just heard Reilly say, it's so long, and that week is so long, and everything changes and then changes again, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. That's why it's so exciting to have one of those double evictions where the house guest may have an idea about it, but it all happens inside of 45 minutes, inside that 1 hour live show. We get an eviction, and then there's an HOH, a veto, all of the ceremonies, boom, somebody's getting voted out. And it changes the dynamic and the play of because it happens so quickly.
Yes, exactly. So
I can't wait for that. I hope we have one coming up on the horizon.
Yeah.
Double eviction, baby. That's what the announcer always says. I get excited for it. I start looking ahead. Like I jump far into the game. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here.
Are my worst nightmare. I went out on a double eviction. So that's
I'm sorry. No, but that's the thing it would have changed dramatically had it been a week and the things you would have been able to pull off. But it's like double eviction. Here it goes. And boom, a big move is made.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring that up, Hannah. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Anytime I hear double eviction, I'm like, oh no.
I know. I get it. It's triggering. I apologize. We're moving along. We're hearing some conversations in the show. And I thought one was really interesting with Cirie and Matt. And I believe Izzy was in on that conversation talking about, his loss of hearing. And so I thought that was a really interesting sort of perspective that sometimes we think about American Sign Language, and we may think of some things that tie into somebody who has an issue with hearing, and but we don't really hear how the world changes for someone like Matt. And I thought that was a powerful moment on Big Brother.
Absolutely, Matt's I believe our first hard of hearing house guest to ever play the game, and we've kind of seen him struggle with not being accommodated by the show, by producers. And yes, it is getting better, but I can only imagine how difficult it's been. And I think that's part of the reason why Reilly was so valuable to him. But another thing that I love about Big Brother is you get to open your home to people that are totally different from you. And you get to learn about how other people live their lives. And so it's very educational in a way. It's informative, and it also opens up the opportunity for you to have critical discussions with your daughter, for example, or me and my dad, me and my mom, friends, BB Twitter. So I think it's just a great avenue.
Yes, that social media site formerly known as Twitter.
Twitter. Now yeah.
I can't say. I still, if I'm on a web browser, not using the app, I still type twitter.com.
Yeah. To be honest, me too. It's kind of like the Sears Tower versus the Willis Tower. No one calls it the Willis Tower.
No. Yeah. It's always the original in my book here, the OG.
Yeah.
And that's what I hang on to sometimes about the OG style of gameplay. And I love seeing it when it's these newer seasons, that kind of stuff is happening. It's awesome. And so, Hannah, let's talk a little bit about this thing I made mention of a minute ago with Cirie, as we brought up Jag, who I really like in this game. And I do want to see who he aligns himself with, because he was saying Reilly was his ride or die. Maybe it's Blue. And I think Blue is where I'm headed with the Cirie thing, because her secret relationship with her son in the Big Brother house it's now become Three's Company, because Blue is moving in and Jared and Blue are canoodling, cozying up on the couch, flirting. I love watching it, but I wonder how long until, Cerie said, you got to focus on the game, and it's harder to watch out for multiple people. You can't be watching out for mom and for Blue and that side of the house and helping mom, because something's going to blow up in his game.
The Jared Blue showmance, budding showmance, flirtmance, whatever it is, it just gives me such a headache because I don't like showmance.
You love showmances, Hannah.
No, I'm like notorious for being a showmance hater. Me and Rachel are on completely opposite sides of the spectrum.
Yes. If she was here, I imagine that it's I love it. And what if they have Big Brother babies? And it worked for her. It worked for game. It's worked for her. They're married. They have these beautiful kids in this family. But yeah, I do see that it's like, this is trouble, I think, as a viewer. Well,
and get this, he's in a relationship with someone he's been dating for 7 years.
Oh, this is even bigger trouble. Yeah. See, so that's the stuff that. Yeah. Wait. And I do, as we think back to Reilly, I asked a little bit about Matt on the outside, something maybe, and put her on you have to say yes, you have to say no right there. You can't. And she goes, maybe. I mean, I know. So these things are for the house. Like, people are a little lonely and they want some companionship. I get it. But play a card game. Don't get out of the game. And that's what the showmance does to a lot of people.
Don't get distracted, but also like the stakes are a lot higher for Jared because he's playing with his mom and he has this huge secret that he's harboring. And it's kind of starting to feel like you said, he's responsible for his mom and protecting her and not letting their secret get out. And then his allegiance to Blue and their budding showmance, whatever you want to call it, is hindering that. Yeah. So I wonder if there's going to come a time where he feels like he has to pick between Blue or his mom. I would really hope he'd go with his mom, but I don't want him destroying his game and then indirectly destroying Cerie's game. And he's been like dropping a bunch of hints to Blue and has flat out said, I have a huge secret that all of America knows about that none of you guys know about. And he said something about his mom is from Connecticut. He said he's just been, I don't know why Blue's mind hasn't been, I don't know why her wheels haven't been turning, but he's dropped like a series of 5 hints over the last 2 days, just kind of teasing Blue with this big secret. And then he has a girlfriend at home who he's been dating for 7 years. Like, I don't like this showmance at all. It's not giving me what it needs to give. Now, if we want to talk about a showmance that I might endorse later, America and Corey, I think they're kind of cute. I know Corey's young. America's like 5-6 years older than he is, but they're just adorable. Like, they're both super fans. They're both a little nerdy. They're both very smart.
Okay.
Small. Yeah. So I like them.
Did you say small?
Yeah, they're like pint-sized. They're fun-sized. They're
like the candy we're going to buy soon for Halloween, whatever they call it, minis. Okay. So I love all this discussion, and I feel like every week I'm going to troll you with some sort of showmance thing. You're not in it. But okay. But you'll maybe give Cody and America a chance at love in the Big Brother house, as long as they don't lose focus of the game.
Yes.
I think also I want to hear your take on Cerie and this pace of game, because we're now into, we saw the episode. I'm just trying to keep on track here. Sunday night, we know what happened with our HOH, and we've got to give high praise to our new head of household, Felicia.
Yes, Miss Felicia.
All right, one of the professors in power now. And then Heisem's like, I'm good. He's feeling great. It's that overconfidence that really comes right before the crash.
Yes, absolutely. One of the biggest rules about Big Brother, and I think any alum would agree with me, if you start feeling comfortable in that house, if you start having that overconfidence, you're getting a one-way ticket to either jury or your hometown. Or if you want a patient somewhere in the meantime. But that's your sign that you're probably headed out the door. So it's always so funny to me when like a blind side is coming and the person who's going to be the victim of the blind side's like, this has been the easiest week for me so far. Well, yeah, no duh.
Yeah, everyone has made you feel super safe. Yeah.
But 12 people in on a blindside plan, 12? That's too many people. I feel like he will catch wind. He's a smart guy. He's a doctor. I think yeah, if he hasn't already started to sense what's happening, I'd be shocked. But from the episode, it doesn't seem like he has.
Yeah. And what we have to also know is that interview may have happened immediately after Felicia won HOH. They pull him, Heisem to the diary room. We hear Don Woolman's voice, and, come over and, tell you to change your batteries and all that other stuff too. And then it's time for him to go in there. And it's right after that happens. He's feeling great. Yeah, I feel awesome. This is good. And so you've got to say, I don't know when in the week that was recorded, because days of things may happen and you're like, how is this guy not seeing it? And they play it on the episode on Wednesday night or some sort of bite, but it could have been a little bit out of the timeline of where he understands a little bit more about this plan. So I take some of that with a grain of salt, because it is good TV.
That is very, very true. And that's something that I didn't even think about, because yes, this is a TV show at the end of the day.
Right.
But
and it's different than live feeds where you are watching it in real time. Those kinds of things we're not seeing until an episode airs. But I want to hear about Cirie's gameplay that you feel like is a sped up version. And are you worried about her playing this way? Does she need to settle into a different style, or is maybe this going to work for her?
I don't think it's going to work for her. In a season that's 100 days long, the constant flip-flopping, the constant changing alliances, the constant naming targets and then denouncing those targets, I feel like she's just going to burn herself out. I don't think it's sustainable. Like, I think you need to give yourself the opportunity to just relax, make a decision, stick with it. I think as we move further along in the season and the number of house guests start to dwindle, people are going to realize, like, okay, this is kind of an unstable game player, and it's honestly just exhausting to be around. And I think the fact that she is able to just control and spearhead these decisions on a whim, and people are more than willing to go along with her, I think it's only a matter of time before people start looking around and going, wait, Cirie has so much pull in this house. We have to start looking towards her. And it's not like she's won any competition so far. Now, she could win them in the future, but I think that they will probably have the opportunity to get rid of Cirie, especially during a pesky double eviction where you don't have to deal with the fallout.
Right.
So that's what I think.
And I do think Cirie will, if she were nominated, will do very well with how she convinces people to vote to keep her, and how she works for somebody to try to win veto and pull her off the block. And I feel like she will be very good in that role if she gets nominated just on a typical week, because there's all that time. And I think almost what happened with Dan's funeral, it's one of those things where she's going to go, how could you get rid of me? And the sympathy and everybody's like, we can't. And they vote out whoever else.
Oh my gosh. But if anyone could pull off a Dan's wake, if you will,
yes,
it would be Cirie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that she's even thinking about something like that, but I'm whatever might come of it, if we see her nominated, how she works to get herself either off the block or make sure she's safe and stays another week. I think it's going to be fun TV. I am a little concerned, though. I'm a little worried about the pace of gameplay from Cirie. So she's got a couple of things here. It seems like that we're noticing as some flags with, controlling Jared, and then what and not controlling. That's a bad way of putting it, but just that your alliance partner is focusing in on you and your alliance, and the two of you are working together. When you start bringing in other people who may get a little bit more attention and even more pull, where he goes, mom's not gonna mind if I meet a nice girl and I help her along in this game. I could win this thing and share the money. So he may get clouded, where it's like, I think that's going to be an issue, and the gameplay. So, all right, interesting with all of this right now. Okay.
Well, can we get to spoilers this week?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's do it. It's spoiler time. Take it away, Hannah.
This is kind of like along the lines of just Cirie being very enjoyable to watch as a live feeder, but just way too chaotic for my liking if I were in the BB25 house. So Miss Felicia wins HOH on Thursday. She gets this ridiculous punishment. Hardy har har, big brother, gotta be corny at all times. But Felicia decides to nominate Cameron and Jag as pawns because they want to disarm Hisam. They don't want Hisam to sniff a blindside coming. So that just seems like the most logical decision. Jag and Cameron were both close to Reilly. Jag's the target. Cameron's just a pawn like he was last week. So then they play the veto. Now, I don't know exactly who got picked, but Jag ends up winning the veto, which means that there will have to be a backdoor regardless of who it is. Mm-hmm. So then on Sunday, all day, Cirie, Felicia, Izzy kept going, and kind of Corey back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. At one point, they considered renomming America and targeting her. Then they considered just throwing up a pawn next to Cameron, getting rid of Cameron. They highly considered Red as a target who's in the Professor's Alliance. Then they talked about getting rid of Bowie because they think she's some undercover strategic genius mastermind. Then they pivoted to Meet Cole. Then they pivoted to America. So they really just cycled through like 6 out of the 12 or so eligible house guests this week. Bonkers to me. So then today they had, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just don't see the reasoning behind some of those players. I don't think that you don't take somebody out of your alliance, I would say, this early in the game, except for, I think, Hisam. And so maybe that's what Cirie's thinking is we don't need to reduce our numbers. And so she's looking elsewhere, in America, wherever. I just don't see some of these people being targets are coming after her as threats. I think these are people she could work with, where Hisam is not. And it's very interesting to watch some of the things that have been unraveling, unfolding, the chaos in the house.
Absolutely, because, well, okay, I can understand why they would want to get rid of Hisam. I don't think he's the best team player. He's a bit overbearing in conversations. Yeah. They might feel undervalued by him. That's just not a good ally.
100%, Hannah.
But at the same time, I do think Hisam is genuinely loyal to the professors. However, if you remember last week, Hisam was kind of forming these side alliances, so they might be misreading his loyalty. So I understand why they want him out. However, getting rid of the house's biggest target week 3, Cirie, who do you think is going to emerge as the next biggest threat? So I don't think in the long run, or even in the short term, it's the best decision for her game, but also her considering Meet Cole, Red, and Bowie, who are all part of the professors, and she's in 3 alliances with Meet Cole. I just don't understand why. Yeah. So then Corey eventually reshifts the focus back to Hisam and goes, guys, 12 people are in on this backdoor plan. Hisam will catch wind of this. And if he stays in this house, he's coming after you, Cirie, because you were kind of the person who came up with this plan to target Hisam. So we might as well just stick to our guns, get rid of him.
Wait. Let me pull a Hisam here and just cut you off there. We got to get to what really is happening now as we get into the veto. Jag holds the power. He's our veto holder, and he's obviously going to save himself.
Yes. And so Hisam goes on the block as a replacement nominee. April Fools, guys. I was just fooling you. It's not actually Red and Cameron. It's Hisam and Cameron. So one of them will be leaving at the end of the week. And that's where we're at.
Okay. I know it's going to be a wild and frenetic next few days. Hisam is going to do everything he can. He's going to try to get the numbers in his favor. So the vote is at 11 people who will go in and vote live, we presume live on the Thursday night show. So he's going to need, he needs 6 of those votes. If my math is right, I was told there'd be no math in a podcast, but yes, is that right? You got to sway 6 people, and I don't see it happening for Hisam.
Yeah, I think if you have the opportunity to take out a huge threat like that, and you're not a Cirie, then I would take it.
I do think Suri has missed that she becomes the next biggest target in the house.
Yes.
However, maybe by having all of this chaos and bringing all these other names up and getting someone like Red in there, or our DJ from Australia, Bowie in there, and some of these names, maybe people start thinking about other people as powerful instead of Suri, who has used her words and persuasion versus really seeming to like build an army. She has, but I don't know that they all see it yet.
Yeah.
I hope, because I really am rooting for Suri.
No, me too. I think she's brilliant. I think she brings just such a uniqueness to modern Big Brother because she comes from Survivor. So this season almost reminds me of like more old school seasons of BB where things are just a lot more fluid and dynamic and crazier. So yeah, I'm really excited that she's part of this season.
Yeah. Okay. Real quickly here, we're going to do our final predictions as we wrap up the episode here. Just a moment from now, how you think the vote's going to go. You don't have to give numbers, but I think we know this week what we're saying. Sometimes it might be a little split. But I want your take on somebody who we're not talking a whole lot about. Their name isn't being brought up. Who is doing a really good job right now in this game? Or maybe, and I know these are floaters that are going to start getting mentioned because people go, oh, nobody's talking about them. We need to start talking about them. What are they doing? What's their game? But do you have anybody who you go, I think this player right now is in a good spot and for the next couple of weeks?
I said this, I think last week or maybe the week before, but America continues to be my dark horse. I think she's flying under the radar. I think she's playing the middle well. She's observant, she's analytical, and she's really close with Nicole and Corey. And she's also like kind of tight with Jag and Blue and that side of the house, but she's okay with Felicia and Suri and Izzy. I don't think anyone's looking at her right now. So America is my girl.
Okay. I do think you're onto something there. I think she's a great player right now. I don't want the showmance potential with Corey to either make her a duo, which puts a target on you, or that she loses focus in the game. I think that would be bad for America and her game in the Big Brother house. I do like Nicole. I think this political consultant thing where she's thinking things through and how you spin it and how you work it and all of that. I think that takes a special brain, and it's something that is a skill set that I don't have. I don't know if I would want to have it or possess it, but I think it will give her a unique ability in the Big Brother house. And I know her name has been brought up. I know it was talked about, and Suri is looking at her, but I also don't know that all the house guests are. I don't know that because they haven't had these big conversations with her, everyone, that they really know how smart she is, how much she thinks through strategy, what she could potentially bring to another player's game. So I think she's going to do well. I mean, anything can happen. But my other thing that I am watching is sort of how the head of household, then the game shifts on them the following week, because it's happened to Reilly, our first HOH. It's happened to Heisem, our second HOH. So Felicia, what does this mean for your game in the Big Brother house? And I'm nervous because I like her. I think she's great. She's fun in the diary room. I really like watching her on the feeds. All of this stuff that she brings to the house, to the game, and her likability. And now she's won a competition. So I don't want to see her end up as the target, but just because that's sort of what we're going to do this season.
Yeah, well, I can't think of anyone who would target her this early in the game, but honestly, that would be a smart decision, because if you don't get rid of her, who will? Yeah, although that would probably upset some people. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you're going to look up with someone like Felicia and somebody goes, oh, I just brought her to the final two. And then she may be able to say, I was the HOH who took Heisem out, and that may be enough on her resume, and then whatever else she's done to get herself there, that people go, okay, here you go. That $750,000 check is yours.
And also,
I see her in the final two chairs. I'm like, I'm voting for you because of what I think. And this is our predictions here as we round it out. Hannah, I want you to go ahead and I want you to tell us your prediction for the live eviction and maybe what you think will happen with the vote on Thursday night.
I think Hisam's going to go.
But what I think though is here's how I'm going to Hisam you again. Oh, take it away, Hannah. I'm just messing.
That's exactly how he is.
We're like, I had something to say. No, please. My apologies. That was a fun little gag, but without you knowing about it.
No, you're fine. That was so good. I think Hisam's going to go home, unfortunately, which he makes really good TV. So I wish, we got to watch him for a few more weeks, but he just, last week, he did a little too much, a little too fast. And unfortunately, he has to, what did he say about Reilly? He has to take accountability for his actions and face the consequences.
Oh, look at that, turning his own words on him. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's done for Hisam's game. And I think it will be 11-0. Although I'd love for someone like Suri to throw a vote in there, get a hanky vote going and get a little drama stirred up in the Big Brother house.
Or even like a Corey. Yeah. I could see Corey just wanting to be crazy on Thursday.
Be a super fan. Do something like this.
Yeah.
What Danielle for Big Brother 3 would love to do. Yes. Stir up some drama and then just drop it out there and then just watch it explode.
Yeah, right, and walk away. Hands clean.
All right, and as we are walking away, we will see you next time. Great insight, as always, Hannah. Thanks for watching the Secret Alliance podcast.
Bye, guys. Bye, Jason.
Bye, Hannah.